Well, hello there, YouTube. It's Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. And that's right, it's an update video. Usually in an update video, I just tell you what's going on. But in this video, I swear, I'm gonna actually install something. I promised you guys that I'd be installing the distributor next. Right after I did that video, which I did the same day, I immediately started on this. And the first thing I did was pull off the old O-ring, which is super hard. That's typical, right? But you see that little thing right there? Let's zoom up on that. This is a special type of spacer. It's a fiber washer. Made out of fiber. No, it's not aluminum. It's not this product or Teflon or any of those other things. And there's a reason for this to be made out of this material. That reason is that it will get absorbed with oil and then basically make sure that the thrust part of this whole thing is correct. So what happens is this shaft can move up and down like this a little bit. And that right there goes right in between a washer. The washer is on the outside, and then it's this fiber washer. And I even think that when you break this down and pull the whole thing apart, that there's another fiber washer on the other side somewhere. This I don't know for sure. I can't find any information on this whatsoever. And I can't find that Mercedes or Bosch or anyone sells that. I do know that there's remanufactured ones of these. That tells me that this fiber washer is available. Where, I don't know. Immediately after I did last week's video, I was leaving the very next day on a vacation for, 5 or 6 days, just going camping locally. I haven't done it, because I've been working on this project. So I had booked that a year ago thinking that my engine would be done. Immediately after that is when I discovered this. And during my whole little trip that I've been on, I've been researching this, learning about how to take it apart and all these different things. But of course, I can't find any rebuild kits for this distributor. So what I did, I'm gonna let you guys know, is I purchased a remanufactured distributor. And the company, because I'm buying direct from the remanufacturer, I asked them, I sent them a request and says, look, this is the only thing I need. And there's a pin right here. And then that pin I would also need. Because you gotta pop that pin, pull out your gear, and get your washer, and then put in your new fiber. And then maybe you might wanna break it down further. This I don't know. So I put in a request. Now they haven't answered me yet. I says, you guys are obviously rebuilding them, so, tell me where I can get this stuff. So I'm also putting that out to you guys, if anybody there knows where to get these fiber washers, it would be appreciated, as well as this. I know that some guys have been using some rolled pins, those split pins. I know that they have used that in here. So I guess you could go that far. But there's another way. I see how some guys on the Porsches do it and things like that. Because this is a common thing amongst all these Porsche enthusiasts. Why not Mercedes enthusiasts, right? Why not? That's what I'd like to know. Why is it just Porsche? But anyway, I have a funny feeling that maybe a Porsche kit would work if the shaft size is the same and stuff like that. So I don't know. But at least I've got half of it, right? That's all that was here. And of course, there was nothing in the engine when I took it apart. There's nothing in there now. So this has been missing the last time they took this apart. Which brings me back to, why is this taking me so long to do a simple thing like dress this engine? I mean, to put this distributor in takes about 10 seconds, you guys. So it's very easy when you know how it works. Right? So that's gonna be a fast video. And really what I wanted to do was just do a video on dressing the engine, which would be all these brackets and everything. I'm always thinking about how I'm going to present videos to you. So you notice I started, my last video, was about the brackets on the left side. And then I did the TDC delete. You notice that I'm doing things in a specific sequence. And it's only because when you go to build your engine, without those sequences in place, there's two things that happen for me and for you. One, I could put on, for example, on this side right here, I could put the air pump on, right? But that's going to block everything else on the left in your view in the next video when I go to put in the oil filter. You won't be able to see it. I'll have to have cameras like stuck behind or something, right? So I'm always thinking about how am I going to present this to you with the greatest detail that I can do in my garage here, right? And so that's another reason. I'll get it all set up, for example, to put in the lower bracket, right? And then I was just going to put in, the power steering bracket, right? Torque that thing down, drop in the distributor. Then we can turn the engine, because that's what you should do after dropping the distributor in. You should turn your engine. And when we do turn the engine, those little circles will come around and allow us to finish the torque on the AC bracket. And really, that's the only way you can do it. So that's another reason why, there's specific steps that I have planned out in my head for the video shots and for the engine build. When I get stuck on something and a part isn't here, it kind of messes everything up. Talking about all that, I want to talk, since I got this time now. Now you guys know why this distributor isn't in, and I'll talk about what I'm going to try to do next. But I want to give you guys an update because I've been gone, right, since my last video. There's my last video that I did is installing the AC, right, and that's been how many days ago? 5 days ago. So like I said, I've been gone for 5 days. That day I was ready. I was going to drop in the distributor, put that all together, and then take my little trip, come right on back and start on this other side. And, I was going to go ahead and start actually with the brackets, the motor mounts. And then I was, start with it here because it's in the open. Everyone can see it, right? No big deal. You guys probably don't ever take it apart. Doesn't matter. I get it. But I was going to torque that in and then say I'm going to do the other side. So that way those two things are done. And then start moving towards the front, right? We'll go ahead and put on the oil filter or bracket. Then we can go ahead and put on the smog or air pump. And then move up and put on the alternator bracket, right? And then just kind of finish it up. And then I was moving on to the injectors. Right, so now everybody knows exactly how that is. But getting back to my site, my little YouTube channel, I want to let you know that if you just go to my videos, yes, this is going to show you a sequential order. If you look at this way, this is how everything was presented, but sometimes I run into a problem, right, and then have to come back. It's only happened once, I think, or maybe twice. So I've created playlists to really help all of this. Like if you guys are interested into the water pump and everything that's involved there you go. You go in here, and I've made sure that these things are in an order, specific order for you guys. So it's how it happened, like this is everything about it. This is me taking it all apart, right? And then it's installing it, right? And then, of course, it's putting on the sensors and the water inlet. So that's everything to do with basically the water pump. Everything is in a specific order, like the tear down, you don't have to go look for it. How'd you tear down the engine? There it all is. And these are some of my bench testing type things that I've done. Here in the Restoring My 1987 560 SL, when you click on that, all this is in the chronological order of how everything was taken apart and now going back together. Another super important part is channels that I feel complement what I'm doing. And, I started years ago, actually, before I did this, I started with Mike's Mercedes and other cars. You guys got to go over there and watch all his 107. He's amazing. But my point is that these are the sites that have a lot of information that might be in a different technical way, you know, than I'm presenting it, you know, like Tassos. Everyone should subscribe to him. So subscribe. But getting back to this, I have, like I said, purchased a new distributor. So when that comes in, I'll install that. You know, as I'm dressing the engine, I don't have a big giant table, you guys. I have a 4-foot table, and that is it. And that table is holding the tools for the job that I'm doing and the parts necessary to do that specific job. I don't have enough room to just lay each step out and see what's wrong. So this here is the alternator bracket. When I first took all this stuff apart, is early in the build, when I'm taking things apart, I'm not so noticing discrepancies so much. I'm paying more attention to how the bolt comes out. Like, is it hard, you know, is stripped, and those types of things. They're already in there. The car was running, it was built, right? You know, I don't know what anyone has ever done. And I wasn't in tune with what a Mercedes bolt might look like compared to somebody messing with me and putting in junk like this. You see that? This bolt in here is the only bolt that's probably correct. And I'm not sure, actually it's not correct. That is not a Mercedes bolt. This is definitely not a Mercedes bolt. This is definitely not a Mercedes bolt. Come on, you ever seen a Mercedes bolt look like that? No. This is also not a Mercedes bolt. This one is also not a Mercedes bolt. Every single bolt here is not Mercedes. What did I have to do? Buy new bolts. I did buy the bolts. And I knew that they were wrong because look at this. Do you see the lengths here? Do you see how much longer this is compared to the one above it? Look how short this one is compared to even the one next to it. Do you see that? You know, I don't know why guys will just reach into their thing and not even get the right size bolts. You know, the bolts are wrong. Every single bolt for this is wrong. So let's install something, right? Something that most of you probably would never do. There's no reason to take this off. Why I took it off, I don't know. But I did. What I've noticed is that all the washers and the bolts are correct. So I know I can install this. Unfortunately, as usual, the manual doesn't include any torque specifications for this. So I'm going to use the chart. These are M8s, 8.8, which says 24 Newton meters. So that's what I will be torquing this down to. If anybody knows of a different setting, like my buddy Peter, let me know. Otherwise, all you're going to need is a 13mm socket, maybe a short extension, and a torque wrench capable of 24 Newton meters. So let's get over there and put this thing in. Now, the first thing that I want to point out really is that when this thing is in there, I mean, you know, this is how this is going to set. This actually is for the right side. Now, this one is for the left side. And you'll notice you could put this in there and it still looks good. So you have to make sure you put the correct one on. And what's going to happen is, do you see the writing? When you have the correct one, this is not correct. When you have the correct one, that stamping right there will be facing the front of the engine. You'll notice there's different lengths bolts, right? This is shorter than this one. Okay, I've got my torque wrench set to 24 Newton meters. As I do everything, I'm going to torque it up. So I'm going to go to 10 first. There's 10, 10, 10, 15. I'll go to 20. All right, 24. That's 24.5, 24.5, 24.5, 24.2. So now I'm going to move over to the other side and finish that. But for now, this is done. And there's the left side all torqued. You can see I put little yellow on those bolts. Also notice the part number. The part number of that is facing the front of the engine. Here it is on the right-hand side. Mercedes calls these two things engine carriers. So again, there's a left and a right. You got to put them on. They look the same. They can be mixed up. So you got to pay real close attention to that. And that's basically all I did on this video, right? Most of you would never take those off. There's no reason to take those things off. That's why I thought it would be appropriate just to throw it in this video and still keep things in sequence. It's not something that's a common thing. And I don't think anybody's out there searching for it. But I did want to let you guys at least bring you up to date, let you know what's going on. I don't like doing these videos, as I said earlier. You know, update videos just means something's not working. And in this case, it's like parts. Like, for example, I got all the bolts and I had them before I left. Unfortunately, Mercedes at the last minute said, oh, this one bolt they can't get. But I can get the bolt from somewhere else. So I had to order that bolt, which, you know, kind of messed that up as well. So, but anyway, this is where I'm at and I'm trying to move forward. I want to be careful, you know, I don't want to get things too far out because, you know, guys that might have seen my video, they're not going to necessarily be subscribers, you know, so it's probably a good idea to subscribe, at least at this point. And also, why I wanted to present the whole idea behind my playlist is just everything is going to be there. But something like this, you know, where do you put your update videos? This is just an update on what's going on and why I'm having difficulty moving forward and all that kind of stuff. There's other things I can do. Obviously, I can jump over here and I can work on this. You know, this is the oil filter housing or bracket, whatever you want to call it. So I have this ready to go in, and I can put it in, but if I start making too many videos, you know, the question is that going to interfere with the sequence of things? So that's why you have to go to my playlist on restoring my vehicle, and that is everything in sequential order. Otherwise, I have other individual playlists, like I mentioned, where it would just show you everything about the water pump. You know, I can water pump, the thermostat, and the water inlet. And it's basically a complete rebuild, just in that one little playlist. But I think that's a good way to at least find what you're looking for. I know I use the playlist all the time. I'm always over there at the engine teardown. And I'm, you know, because I'm looking at it, I'm putting it back together, right? So I got to go back to that thing back and forth. So that's when I realized, oh, I better create some playlists. So there you go. And if you guys think a video belongs in a play, because I can cross, right? One video can be in playlist number 1. It can also be in playlist number 8. So, you know, if you guys think it's appropriate or want to suggest anything like that, you know, put it in the comments. I'll do what you guys would like to do, you know? So again, you know, thanks again for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'm going to try to start this car. Eventually, all the parts will be here, you know, and it really shouldn't take that much time, right? Just to dress the outside of this, that shouldn't take much time. You know, the injection system and the fuel distributor, those types of things might take a little bit more time for me, quick for you on the video end, but again, it's about detail. I like to keep things in a certain order. You know, I've got lights that I set up, cameras that I set up, different angles that I set up. So it can take me, believe it or not, an hour or even more just to set up the shots. right? And then when something doesn't work out, it's like, uh-oh, I just spent an hour setting up this shot and I don't have the bolt. You know, I'm doing this for me and for you. Of course, now I'm at the putting it back together point, and I'm probably giving more detail than I did when I was taking it apart. Let me get back to this. I just want to say, you know, thanks again, you know, for viewing this video and, you know, subscribing. And that's the best way to support this project. So, but I think I can move a little bit forward. Like I said, I think I can just probably install this. It's not going to interfere or anything. I may just continue with the installation on this whole right side, you know, including the air pump and, you know, and the alternator bracket. I mean, it's only two little things on that side. And then the distributor should be here, hopefully, this weekend or beginning of next week. You only get the distributor. So there's other parts, the rotor and all the things inside, they have to be transferred. So I'll take all that stuff apart, we'll put it all back in there, and then that'll be the end of it. And we'll finally have the front all torqued down and every bracket torqued down. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, I'm looking forward to that. And then again, then we'll move on to the ejection system. And then I think it's getting really close to picking that thing up and dropping it in. So thanks for watching.